Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
Welcome to the bustling metropolis that is Machakos County. This is the Great Debaters Contest. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. We have Muka Girls versus Makweni Boys. The motion is advances in technology have destroyed interpersonal communication.
First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Now, advances in technology has completely destroyed and altered the landscape of interpersonal communication. And I come here strongly to propose this motion that says advances in technology are destroying interpersonal communication. Greetings and salutations to the judges in the audience. My name is Robert Kimeu. What is technology? It's a word used to collectively describe or portray the advancements, abilities, creations, undertakings, views, and knowledge of a single group of persons. What is interpersonal communication? This is the process we use to build relationships with others through communication by effectively doing the following: understanding one's situation, communicating in the right manner, that is tone and words, and influencing them to listen. Now, let's get to business. Why am I saying that interpersonal communication has been destroyed by this technology? Take, for instance, a case in a family. The family bond is no longer there. Gone are the days when you and your parents and your little kid sister used to sit on the dining table and your dad would be like, "Hey, young son, are you fine? The lady I saw you with you today, what's her name?" Then your mom would be like, "No, dad, stop. He's a big man. He deserves everything." But today, that is not there. You're in the living room. The mom is on her phone. The dad is on his laptop. And the 12-year-old daughter is on her phone. I mean, what is a 12-year-old girl doing with the phone? I mean, it's abstract. I cannot understand it. Next, there is no trust in communication. If you're communicating with the social networks, I'm communicating with a certain lady. She gives me emojis, laughter, ha ha ha, dishing them out. But in real time, she's saying, "This guy is a doofus. What is he telling me?" This is a case. Cecilia, a pediatrician, a very highly profiled pediatrician, was chatting with her daughter. She's in college. Then they're chatting over suddenly. The daughter is happy. Emojis, everything, the fun things that you do. The next morning, the daughter is dead. She committed suicide. Why? She had a lot of problems. She had a lot of issues. But because of this communication, she was acting otherwise. She was acting like she was happy. If the mother knew face to face that my daughter has an issue, she would solve it. But because of that, Cecilia today does not have a daughter. And because of that, I blame technology. Next, ethic and values have been ruined because of this technology. How do I term this? Take, for instance, let me ask forgiveness from Judge Booker if I may offend her in any way. But ethics and values to the people we respect have been lost. We now work with the notion that decorum society doesn't exist. Judge Booker over there is a very respectable lady. High standards. Myself, I am this young kid in adolescent stage. Then I go and text Judge Booker. I tell her, "Judge Booker, hey, hot mama, are you single?" Does that really happen? No. So I say today, I want to say that technology is ruining us. Thank you very much.
Opposition, we'll hear from you now. You have 3 minutes.
Mukoi Mutua is the most suitable name that was found for me. The Muka Girls High School, and I'm here to oppose the motion that states advances in technology are destroying interpersonal communication. When we talk about technology and communication, we will be looking at the products that store, retrieve, manipulate, and even transmit information electronically in a digital form by the use of computers, laptops, name them. What do you mean by interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication simply means the process whereby we exchange information, meanings, or even feelings through verbal or non-verbal messages. In short, interpersonal communication is face-to-face communication. I can see your gestures, I can see your body language, I can see your change of mood. We are looking at advances in communication technology as compared to face-to-face communication. I can see you using a laptop. If you're contented with face-to-face communication, I know in one way or another, you have used it to communicate. The world is becoming a global village for using cell phones. Take, for instance, a person inviting friends overseas, for example, New York, Los Angeles, or even Japan. This is cheap, faster, and convenient compared to traveling to different people in different areas. Do you think Alexander Graham Bell would invent the telephone if he was contented with face-to-face communication that was back in their days? I don't think so. This shows that mankind was really and eagerly waiting for a technological breakthrough so that they could move to the next step of communication. In a nutshell, communication technology is not destroying interpersonal communication. In fact, it is improving interpersonal communication. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now, beginning with Makueni Boys. You have 3 minutes.
We are living in a one-way, fast-track society, which we are all byproducts of internet. First and foremost, let me inform you, there are 3 roads to ruin. The first one, women. Men, you can agree with me. The second one, gambling. The third one, technology. The most pleasant is women. The sweetest is gambling. And the most surest is technology. Innocent Mauta, Makueni Boys, opposing the motion, advances in technology are doing more harm than good. Mukwei Mutua from Muka Girls has spoken about using a laptop to communicate with you. I would like to pose a question to her. Am I talking to you? Am I not facing you? Am I not standing here in person to speak to you? Or am I using a projector to tell you what I want to say? Am I not standing here in person trying to convince you that advances in technology is in fact a blessing in disguise? Did I not stand here in person, I wouldn't have made you to get convinced that technology is doing more harm than good. Well, to a point, texting and social networks is undermining one-on-one communication. Well, a boy will prefer to live in a shell. Suppose the boy is shy. We have naturally shy boys who will prefer to stay in a shell rather than getting out to socialize, rather than standing up like a man, facing his fears, approaching the person of the opposite sex to tell him how you feel about something, telling him how to express your love for this person. Well, I believe that interpersonal communication is irreplaceable. Nothing can ever stand in the place of interpersonal communication, more so face-to-face. Cyber addiction has destroyed interpersonal communication. It has led to time wastage. You find that as someone, especially a teenager, will prefer to spend a lot of time on the telephone, will prefer to spend a lot of time Googling in the internet, will prefer to spend a lot of time on his laptop simply because he's wasting time. He has nothing good to do. He has nothing better to do. Rather than interacting with people, rather than communicating to people, he would prefer to waste time because he's addicted to technology. Well, as I finish, I would like to tell you one thing. We should not let technology come in the way of interpersonal communication. We shouldn't let technology hinder interpersonal communication. Instead, let us stand up and face one another and express one to one to express in ourselves. Interpersonal communication, and I repeat, interpersonal communication cannot be replaced. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to give your rebuttal.
Hi. My name is Faith Monde from Muka Girls High School, strongly opposing the motion that states advances in technology are destroying interpersonal communication. Okay, Innocent. 1, you're contradicting yourself. Aren't you using a laptop? as my early partner said. And plus, you're using this microphone, which is a technology advancement, to project your voice in communicating with the rest, aren't you? Okay, technology. Let's look at the latest invention of the GPS, the General Positioning System, which can show your exact location with pinpoint accuracy. Imagine of a scenario whereby you have not well known a place, yet you are driving to it. You have to make stops after some time to ask for direction. I believe you'll all agree with me that this is very tiresome and wastes a lot of time. Alternatively, you can use the GPS, which will show you the shortest route to your destination and further give you information of roadblocks and even road-on constructions to avoid. Take, for instance, the internet, which is one of the largest, if not the largest form of passing and gathering information. Today, many households, schools, companies, businesses, and other corporations use the World Wide Web. Its used for many purposes, like, for example, advertising, publishing personal information, sending and receiving emails, gathering information, and so on. I dare say that the World Wide Web has surpassed the TV, radio, and even newspaper source of communication. Then let me ask you a question. Would any of us want to revert back to the caveman ways where the internet was only used for email and research? I doubt. Mobile banking. Nowadays, it's very easy to get information on bank transactions, account balance, and even loans through your phone without stress at the comfort of your own room. Look at Safaricom M-Pesa. This is a technology advancement that very many people in Kenya have adopted. Actually, I believe it's the proud sponsor of the Great Debaters Contest. Imagine the olden days. I hear people used to send money in envelopes through people. Sometimes this money couldn't even reach the intended recipient. Would you think we want to go back to those days? Would you? I believe that technology is in no way, and I mean no way, interfering with or destroying interpersonal communication, but rather improving it and making it more convenient. I rest my case.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
The proposition have been challenged to clarify whether they're not contradicting themselves when they talk about technology being a blessing in disguise. And the opposition have been asked, what does GPRS technology and money transfer have to do with communication? We'll have them respond. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Was just checking on my Instagram updates when I realized it was my time to speak. And I was just about to post a photo of me in the Great Debaters Contest. But let me answer your questions first. My fellow proposer, Innocent Mauta, said that advances in technology are a blessing in disguise. I'm sorry for that. It was only the psyche. It was only the passion that he had to rebuttal that point that made him confused. A study conducted for online casino, Yazino, found that 1 in every 4 people spend more of their time socializing online than when they are doing it one-on-one. Look at hacking. Hacking is one thing which has been caused by advances in technology. People nowadays don't want any private matters hidden in them, in their social lives. Sorry for that. We have Snowden, the owner of WikiLeaks. Snowden was able to hack the systems of the most powerful country in the world. This is USA, and he still stands to be a great man. But this is not right, because he has exposed systems of a great nation. That's why they are hunting him down. Technology has led to people becoming vulgar and cheats as they hide behind profile pics of people who are prominent. We have a player in Sunderland, Jones, who was involved in a case of dating a 15-year-old girl. Why did this happen? Because he didn't know what the girl was up to. She sent a request to his Facebook account when she had hidden her real self in another person's face. We are having technophobia. Technophobia has affected the illiterate and people who are not up to the standards of having finances. People are now being discriminated because they have no knowledge in technology. We have the point on lack of eagerness to visit your friends and people who matter in your lives. These are our parents, relatives. We have best friends, wives. Why? Because distance has been reduced. But what distance makes it to have a human bond, that flesh bond between the two of you who are relating in a special manner? You need to have a human bond so that you can say you are really close to each other. This triggered Mark Kennedy to state that all the biggest technological inventions created by man says little about his intelligence, but speaks much about his laziness. Thank you. Once again, Martin Mutiso, Makueni Boys.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
Ogai Faith from Mukaa Girls High School. Answering to the question posted about money transfer. It's not a must that when you're transferring money, you transfer money to a person who is far away from you. But you can just transfer money to a person who is next to you through the phone. I think that is just face-to-face conversation while still transferring money. Take it in, for instance, in a supermarket, when you're transferring money, it is more secure to go to the supermarket and transfer money with your phone rather than carrying cash, which are not much secure about it. I think we all know that technology is developing and advancing. For instance, we have the video conferencing. I think video conferencing is a development in personal communication. At least a manager who is far away from the heads of department of his organization can now communicate without being in the same geographical places or in the same geographical area with the person or the heads of states whom he is communicating to. I think this being face-to-face conversation has helped to save costs that the manager would use to come back to where the meeting was to be held, and also the time. We all know that time is precious. About satellite communication, decades of centuries, man could not or even think of communicating with a person who is far away from them using at least seeing them. But now, contradicting my opponent about not seeing the person you're communicating to, at least for now we have the Skype. Somebody can communicate to a person whom is seeing through the Skype. For an example, we have an NTV show, The Trend. When the participants are participating in the show, at least we have the Skype in the show that the participants can be seen with the viewers when they are communicating. And this, I think, is also face-to-face conversation. So I don't think that when we're improving technology, we're actually destroying face-to-face conversation. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear closing statements now. Makueni Boys, you have a minute.
Technology has limited the mentality of the youth within the scope of what the applications can do. It is easier for them to forget their social and life skills as they get swallowed up into this virtual world of false consciousness. They cannot rationalize, they cannot think beyond specifications of what applications can do. Perhaps internet is the new species of mind because it is easily substituting the human brain. Or what do you think? Indeed, humanity needs thinkers, free from the trend of relying on the internet, free from the trend of relying on technology, free from the trend of constricting ourselves to limited thinking of technology. And no matter how much advances we are going to make, technology is doing more harm than it is doing good. And nothing, I repeat once again, nothing can ever substitute the essence of interpersonal communication. I rest my case.
Ladies, you have a minute as well for your closing submission.
I'm back again. The best part about communication is that it is developing, it is expanding, and also it is evolving. We cannot always sit somewhere and stop at that technology is destroying more than providing more good. I think that as much as you're using this technology, we need to be sure that we are using it in moderation, we are using it in the best way possible through being responsible, and also, if it is possible, offer other alternatives. As in, all of us have phones, and I don't think that we cannot use these phones because they are destroying us. Technology is part of us. If it's not part of us, it is here with us. So I think we cannot just avoid technology. We need, and we must be sure that we need this technology with us. Thank you.
I want to address Muka girls. It's good to have a stand. I thought if you were trying to oppose this motion, you'd have told us what then advances in technology are doing. If they're not destroying, then I want to assume you are trying to tell us that it is an enhancing, something of that sort, is it? Yes, so I wanted to hear examples of how this has been enhanced. We have heard of even, online dating, is it? People now end up meeting to have now the interpersonal communication because they had to meet first of all on this other side. You didn't mention such simple examples where you even have friends on Facebook and there are other places that you've never met, and hopefully maybe you're trying to chat on how you shall meet. Use simple examples that we can understand and see how this is making or enhancing interpersonal communication. Don't go too far. And I think some of the examples you gave really didn't resonate well. So what are some of these advances that have, really enhanced this? Those are some other examples that I only felt Faith Ogai was the one who brought a few that were quite reasonable. In terms of definition, I think, Caroline, you did well when you told us that, what interpersonal communication is, the face-to-face interaction that we see. Of course, someone else would add, because now you can understand the tone, the facial expressions, the gestures, and the body language, okay? That was a good definition. But when Faith comes in to cross-examine, it was quite fair, yes. You gave the example of the microphone, but sometimes it wasn't relating to the face-to-face interaction. So all the points that you gave should have stood to what Caroline gave as a definition. So apart from the telephone that Caroline gave, what other submissions were there? So you also underutilized time as the first speaker. Faith, the M-Pesa example and interpersonal communication, it doesn't make really much sense, okay? Not unless you're talking about the teller. I thought that was the example you're giving, you're communicating to someone who's already serving you. So it's good to look at some of the examples that you gave, though you're a good speaker. Faith, it was a weak answer, yes. From a weak submission, you tried to take up from the M-Pesa from, what Faith had already said. However, I think you're the one who brought it a bit home when you talked about video conferencing. Because at least that one you can see the face and you can see when someone is disappointed or not, okay? So which is an enhancement to a later on good interpersonal communication. And of course, the example of Skype. You see, these examples would have come earlier and would have built a case for you. So for me, I think it was just fair. All the best.
It's a current motion, and therefore I expected a lot, maybe in terms of presentation and delivery, and passionate delivery for that matter. Robert, a good first speaker in terms of case building, relevant examples, simple and dialogic presentation. I just love your presentation. Innocent, there are 3 sure ways to ruin. And that is number 1, women, number 2, gambling, number 3, technology. I circle the word women and I put a question mark. Traditionally, a woman has been given the role of a temptress. A woman is there to tempt, or a woman is the cause of the downfall of men. I don't really, and then you said that you are focusing on technology and not women and gambling. I really find that to be an unfair presentation of women as a cause of ruin. Even men could be causes of ruins. You may have a problem with feminists, and possibly, in a way, I'm one of them. We need a fair representation of both sexes in society. Let's not make maybe point a finger where it is not relevant. I thought about your laptop, and I was wondering, what was the use of that laptop? Unlike Martin's phone, he explained to us that he was posting pictures I fail to understand what was the relevance of your laptop. I wish you could have cleared that doubt by telling us clearly that I've come with this laptop for this particular purpose, the way Martin did. There's a question that I need to pose to the team. Internet kills thinking. And I said, fine, internet in a way kills thinking, fine, but what exactly do you mean? Could internet enhance thinking in a way? And the answer is possibly yes. And maybe you're talking about examination cheating, you're talking about people who, instead of doing their project, they end up stealing other people's, or rather plagiarism, simply put. That did not come out. If you say it kills thinking, and I thought this other team could have picked it up, it does not kill thinking. Possibly it complements thinking. But if it kills thinking, then show us beyond any reasonable doubt. Martin, 3 things: hacking, ethics, compromised, technophobia. My question is, how does that relate to the motion? Of course, at one point you explained one of it and I tried to understand, but I had a problem with hacking and technophobia. What you need to do, you need to prove your point beyond any reasonable doubt. Fair presentation, content analysis was fair. Execution, Robert, that was good. The other team players, it was fair, but I believe we can still better our presentation. Even Martin, it was not a bad presentation. It was a fair presentation. Innocent, yeah, but we need to do a lot in terms of analyzing our content. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the judges awarded Mukah Girls with 66%. Please give them a round of applause. Makueni Boys High School, you have 69%. You are our winners for the debate.
Bravo to both teams, and especially to the gentlemen of Makueni Boys. Thank you for taking the time to watch the show. Remember to follow us on social media. On Twitter, we are found at Great Debaters EA. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.